Hello and welcome to PiaTune, a new piano tuning app available for piano technicians. This is the start screen, and you notice you have some choices right away. Over on the left side, you'd like to choose one of these. We've got a medium grand today, it's a Steinway M. We have some choices here. Use generic values would be only, I would say, if it was very flat and you don't feel like you can get accurate readings. Over on the right side, there's measure and tune, which is more like an oral sequence, or measure F3 and A4, which is measure before tuning. Let's go ahead and enter the Steinway, ST, we'll just call it this for today. Create a new. Brings us to the screen that shows choices here. The intervals in the middle here are preset for the size of the piano. You can also change these, if you'd like a combination or if you prefer a 6/3, you can pick those. Down here you can change the temperament if you'd like. Once you press done, you're going to be brought to the main tuning screen. When you press back, then it's going to ask you, do you want to pre-measure? Well, yes. And then notice here, gives us the opportunity to start measuring the inharmonicity, and also there's a tuning screen across the top. If you tap that number, it changes the scale so that you can use it to find out, give you an idea of where the piano is starting from. You can actually tune from the screen, although what's driving that tuning bar right now is just an average tuning. It's not anything to do with this specific piano. If you want to improve on that, we can measure some A's. Up on the top where it says semitone, if you tap that, it'll follow you around now. And notice how quick it is to pick up the inharmonicity number, and the number in the middle of your screen turns orange when it's finished measuring. This is good to know as you measure along to help you just catch this out of the corner of your eye. And notice when it picks the wrong note, see it's on A sharp 2 now, so if you tap that number right in the middle of the screen, that'll clear it. You can move the red bar with your finger, just grab it around and move it there. And the red dots represent these numbers for the inharmonicity constant, and this number represents kind of a multiplier for how the partials relate to each other. So it goes from low inharmonicity to high inharmonicity. Let's keep on going down to A2 here. You can swipe along the number at the top to swipe right and left to do notes individually, or tap the arrows to go down a whole octave. And what we're doing is building a curve that's more related to this piano. And then you get a projected curve that this will use to drive the scale at the top of the thing. You could actually tune the piano from this. See, it's starting sharp here according to this. Now let's go ahead and just measure some. Just go ahead and keep on going. I'm going to change this up at the top to manual to semitone. am muting the strings so only one string is sounding. The reason I've shown you this is that from the curve, the black line, you can notice how the actual measurements deviate a little bit, and this will affect the precision of a really nice fine tuning as opposed to just a generic tuning based on a few measurements. Let's see, we're at C, so and what you may notice is that there's some jumps, most likely where there's string break going on or string changes. You can always grab the red line and move back and say, you know, was this an accurate reading back on C sharp? Tap the orange box to clear it. Yep, it looks like it was. Or to go back to this one, G2, you can always check the opposite string of a unison. See, that seems a little bit smoother. So there's a little bit of variety that goes on there. One thing that happens sometimes in the treble, let's run way up here. So say our A sharp, say that one wouldn't respond at all, and you've got a problem, or it's way low or way high. Up in the upper right hand next to the microphone, there is a fill button, and actually it's going to fill all this in between right now, but that you could use to fill all of those. So I'm going to go back right now to open this file because I actually have this piano saved. So we'll go back and take a look. This is the measuring I did at another time. Over on the left, there's the IH and TC. Once all of the red dots are filled, you can touch the TC. This will give you a tuning curve, and then it gives you also a chance to change any of your settings and see how that affects the tuning curve if you wanted to try something different. So right now, let's go back to, I'll leave this at 8.4. Go back to the tuning screen. And we know from just, you can, over here, the auto manual, auto semitone changes your note searching. Up above that where it says A440, if you tap that, it brings you back to the screen. If you switch it to another pitch, push done, and then back, notice how it turns yellow just to warn you that, oh, we're not on 440 anymore. Or if you wanted to have, if it's a real low humidity time of year and you wanted to change it to 439, you could do it there. So we're back. So if we down below that where it says overpull off, if you turn that on, it brings up a screen that says, okay, well, I need to know some stuff about this piano. Where is the stringing? Where's the highest wound string is C in this piano? This mid-range note, I like to place it right below the strut. So on this piano, it's C sharp 5, and that's over to the right shows you the percentages. So the C3 last wound note, all of those notes below that will be a 14% mid overpull, then a 20% overpull, 25. You can change any of these. The treble note is where it's going to shift to the next. Actually, it's going to go up to the 35%. The treble taper note gives you where it's going to taper down from your highest pull. And then this check starting pitch gives a warning in case it's over 10 cents off from the previous or successive note. So let's go back. Start. Notice that we have let's put it on, we're on B4. And it's reading sharp here. You can swipe down on the circle to drop an octave, or right or left to go individual notes. Notice that it measured really high here. Down in the lower right, it measured 27.6, and then the overpull is going to be negative 5.5. You can tap that to clear it, because notice that you can get different readings if you're talking or if there's other noises going on. The scale of the circle, if you double tap that, you can change that. Double tap it again, there's another scale option. So let's go down to the bottom of the long bridge is B2, and we'll just start here. And notice that the little above the needle, those little bars start appearing. That's when you're within a cent. So for overpulling, that's kind of my guideline, even if I'm on the wider scale like this. See how that gives you the bar that comes in to let you know. So if we go back to our screen of our measurements and then the tuning curve, you may notice through the middle here that it's not just a really smooth curve. And the reason it's doing that, if we go over to the way upper right hand corner and choose measure beats, this is actually a measurement screen, so it'll measure what you've done, but the upper right hand corner, the show hide, this gives you an indication of what it's trying to do for your major thirds, the sixth and the tenths, based on the measurements from the piano. And actually, I've got a temperament here, so let me clear that first. That's why it was uneven. Let's put this back up to equal. Done. Back. Measure beats. Show hide. There we go. So it's 6.2, 6.71. And this is valuable. You can actually check yourself to see how close you have gotten to the calculation. But what I liked it more for was to check my current app or tuning gear or aural preference to see if I'm actually achieving progressive, rapidly beating intervals. So hopefully you've gotten an understanding, a basic understanding of using PiaTune. The only thing I didn't show, let's see, where are we? We're at C4. We still have the overpull on. Okay, so say this note was here. See how it highlights yellow? That just gives you an indication. Okay, double check that. Make sure you're actually where you thought it was, because sometimes the app will get lost and will measure incorrectly, and that little warning flash gives you a chance to make sure that you're actually overpulling the right amount. Thank you very much.